Hey, how is it going? So, me, I'm okay. Just been sort of on an emotional roller coaster all day. Not my, just, yeah. I mean, I was in a great mood all morning, all day. I was like, yeah, let's keep this, let's keep this going. And then in the afternoon, the mood felt like it kind of took a dive, and and then I was like, wait, this is the perfect opportunity to, you know, not just let it drag you away. You can exert some control over the situation here, and by control I mean not losing mine. Not like um sort of going over the falls emotionally with the flow of the moment, like just whatever was happening wherever that was making me feel that way, because it was definitely not because of anything happening here. There was nothing happening. It's certainly nothing to make me I'm thinking of like an EEG chart that's just all whoa, like going kind of nuts. It felt like I could have gone that way if I just, like, I don't know, didn't take a moment and go, hey, let's not. So, yay. Anyway, I have been seeing for, at least a week or so, a lot of things. Mainly, like, I don't even have to watch the whole video. A lot of it's just on the title card on YouTube, which, if that's like what it looks like before you click on it, that picture you see is called a title card. So, a lot of times you don't even have to actually click on it. It'll just start going, and you can just watch it without sound if you do subtitles. If it also helps if they have the subtitles, but most channels do. So the theme has been a lot of surrender, and like, it's not like that's not always there, but when it's so many outlets saying it at once, I'm like, okay, something's up. And then the other recurring theme was like knowing there's something like on the edge of your perception, and you can't do more than just sort of know it's there. And for me, I have to agree that's a totally, like, I can agree with that. I have been feeling that. But it's also, you gotta kind of expect it, because something is always on the horizon that you don't know about to show up and be a thing. So you kind of, but sometimes it feels like more, like something more is going on. So I think that's what they're talking about. At least it's something that's like really niggling at my attention. Like, I just, okay, something I can't quite access is there. So I'm just like, okay, like, I tried, and I don't know, maybe it's like a ghost. I don't know if this has happened to you, or you may well have seen something somewhere where a scene came up and someone was like, yeah, I was in the house and started feeling all weird and hair standing up, and I was seeing stuff out of my periphery, out of the corner of my eye, and then I'd look and there'd be nothing there, and then I'd turn over here again and it'd be all pew. That's kind of what it's like this something, and it's just like, something. But that's just me with the I don't know how other people are processing it, but they're sure talking about it. So yeah, that's been coming up a lot. I'm like, a lot, enough to where it's like I have to comment on it. And a lot of times, I will agree with what they're saying. So I'm doing something different from how I usually do it. I'm going to interrupt what I was saying there to just say, well, it's kind of what to do with the last thing I was saying in it is that usually I will, for inspiration, watch something like directly before doing this, and instead I just like sort of doing like a active meditation. Like I always try to meditate before so I can, you know, whatever, get my mind in order to do this. So, why the heck did I start talking about that? Oh, right. I had seen earlier that there was a post from Kalina Melnar, and I usually, that like is something that is very fortifying for me to see her messages because she's highly informative, and I just feel great after I watch her, and she has lots of good messages, and she does, light language and activations, and she did just say that she's not going to be doing much more of that for free. Like the audience has to start paying it Patreon, so that's a problem, but it seems to be one that she posted, so I remembered it right before I started doing this, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to wait, because something else that keeps coming up for me personally, and I can't believe it's just, I mean, on a level, it's definitely, there are messages directed for me personally, but I often feel like if I'm feeling it, other people are too. So, what it was that, oh heck. Uh-oh. I hope that you can't hear that. I just realized that music might be audible. Hold on. Shoot, what the heck was I just gonna say? Watching Kalina and then waiting. Oh, okay, so yeah. So for me personally, I've been getting a lot of messages like, you also have the ability to do things that you see other people doing, like psychics or something, that are accessing something or someone, and it's like you also can do that. Like you can ask yourself or ask of your higher self or your guides or whatever you want to address, that you feel comfortable with, but and I'm talking about me. When I say you, I'm having a conversation with myself, and these messages I keep seeing so much that I'm like, that has to mean something. And also it might not, the heck, mine does. Oh. It might also have meaning for someone else too, so I'm mentioning it. But I forgot again. Really? Oh yeah. Try and ask yourself the questions that you would want to ask a psychic, if you do that. I don't know if you do that or not. I try to find out as much as I can on my own, and I'm not as good at understanding what I'm getting in return for the asking, but that was another point I wanted to touch upon, is if you do the asking, the return will come. It just may not come as fast as you want it to, and it may not look like what you envisioned, but you will get something. You'll get not necessarily what you want, but what you need. So And I am saying that because I'm also seeing a lot that is saying, you know, when you are like praying for something, and I think I have to make a distinction here between praying for something for the sake of, like, you know, the end of war in Gaza and Ukraine and wherever else it's blistering up, you know, violent conflict. You know, praying for that to end, praying for people's hearts and minds to decide to stop doing that. Like, how many centuries do we have to do the same thing to see it's not gonna work out like magically better or different? There's always gonna be a reason that the people that want to go to war are not happy, and they'll find a reason to go back and try to, you know, war to fix it, and it just never does. So, you know, that's praying for something genuine and heartfelt and not selfish. Like most of us, like where I am in the United States, are not gonna set foot in those war zones while they're happening, you know, maybe at another time. But but you can still really, you know, care about it. And okay, so you know what that is. That's like praying. But you know, there's also manifesting, and that usually seems to be like based on something someone wants, like some kind of material type thing or romantic type thing or something like that. And that might not be the case. It might be someone wishing for like cures for some family member with some terrible ailment. But knowing the society that I live in, where capitalism is king, queen, everything, and I feel like it really has like screwed up our humanity. So I'm like, our priorities are messed up, and the things that we will allow to happen to other people and just not, like, we just don't care. And or at least that's what it looks like. And I hope I'm not doing that to anyone else. Well, anyway, I can see that it's just kind of a real hard world that it's made for the whole, like, love and pursuit of capitalism. And I just saw, before I was watching this, some Family Guy compilation, and Brian he had started investing with Stewie because Stewie did it and he was successful, and then whatever Brian does, he always ruins it. So he starts investing too, and he found some protein shake startup, and he brings Stewie to tour the factory, and the protein source is dogs, and Brian's a dog, and he's just all, I don't care, I'm investing. And it's just like, but that's how I feel like capitalism has made us. It's like, we're all dogs, but we're all just like, not only putting other dogs in the protein shake, but drinking it. If if that metaphor makes any kind of twisted sense to other people, it should clarify. We shouldn't do that. Like, I think the whole point of showing that was, well, I mean, dual faceted. I think it was to shock and horrify, but also to send the message of like, that's like terrible. we shouldn't like think that type of thinking is okay. Okay, so anyway, I was having all of those thoughts, and I thought, let me just pull some cards. So what I've been trying to do is let the cards tell me which ones to use, and I've had like varying levels of success, but I think I did pretty good today because the cards seem to be following my state of mind, and that's why the long preamble there. But from the Messages of Cosmic Oracle cards deck, so I can say it right. Stop looking outside yourself for the answers. You already know them. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I'm getting the messages from everywhere. Stop looking outside yourself for the answers because you know them. I take that to literally mean, so the subtitle is you already know them. I take that to mean, if you're familiar with the concept of the Ascended Master, a lot of the channels that I listen to say that the people that are here, that are like star seeds and light workers, are here. Seriously? Well, they're here to help, but they're us, and we don't all consider ourselves a master, but that, like, if we are like awakening ourselves as the masters, which is what the channels also say, and remembering who we are, which is something that you will see a lot, is remember who you really are, find out who you really are, find your task, find your purpose. It's a process of remembering who you really are, and evidently we're just masquerading as these human puppet people, but it's not who we really are. Oh, that sounds crazy. Sorry. You know, sometimes you just have to introduce some crazy into your way of thinking until you understand that, oh, that's actually not really that crazy. Still holding this up because, so we already know the answers. They're inside of us as masters that we are gradually re-becoming. So the next card I pulled was clear your mental and physical clutter. You will feel so much better. That's actually something that I have started doing. Clearing the physical clutter. And doggone it, I'm not finding stuff that I thought was lost in the clutter. Now I'm like, where did stuff go? But that's what I need to get on and figure out. But it does feel better to clear your space, especially the one that I just cleared that has just been sitting there. Not because I didn't want to pick it up and clean it, but because I kept being told that something was going to happen, and that was why I had moved the stuff, and it was in the box. And then now a couple of years have gone by, and the stuff just hasn't happened. So I've been taking the stuff back out of the boxes and trying to replace it, and I don't remember where it was anymore. So it's an adventure. May as well tidy up before the year winds down. So the next card is bet on yourself, take chances, reach your dreams. You got this. So don't be afraid to trust yourself and to believe that there's always help. There's always unseen help. There's always the entities and deities that we are supplicant to, that we pray to, that we make our wishes to. And since I've begun this awakening thing and paying attention to all of this new age stuff, I have learned that something I thought when I got sick way back in 1990, which was very strange and scary. But I was in the hospital and I was 26 years old and I was completely paralyzed on my left side. I hadn't been sick before and the doctors didn't know why. So that, among a whole bunch of other things, made it a very scary situation. But I just was like trying to keep my spirits up about it. But when I would like pray, I would pray like to my mom and talk to her, because I figured, if everyone's on the heaven level, then he'll get the message, he being God. And that actually I learned probably almost 30 years later or 30 years later to be the case. Like, you could pray to your, I'm just gonna say, favorite ETs, but they are also from the angelic realm, so, and also part of the creator of all's work. So why can't you plug into any being of love and light on like the heavenly switchboard? But at the time when I was in the hospital, this volunteer lady, I guess, came in. She was just a civilian. I mean, I asked her like if she was medical or what, but she turned out to to be religious. So she like basically said, "Hi, I'm blah," and the next thing I know, she's like, "Are you praying to God for your health?" And I was like, whoa, 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 tone it down. Like, I just don't really. She felt kind of militant, like right off the bat, and I said, "Well, I've been praying to my mom," and she lost it. She did not like that. You are only supposed to pray to God, and you're gonna go to hell. And so then I started laughing and started saying, sure, like things that would just, make her like, yep, you're going to hell. Because I knew it would get her out, because the lady, like, I don't know if you were coming to help me feel better, but that isn't. And after she left, I did feel like bad, kind of like, should I not be doing that? But I just kind of felt myself like, do you feel bad? Like, does it feel like you're doing something awful? And it didn't feel bad. So I was just like, oh, fuck her. And then come to find, years later, you can kind of plug into the switchboard and speak to any operator, but you're going to get a line to spirit if that's what you're aiming for, because it's all the same. Like, it's all connected, like the switchboard and the matrix and the web and the... Are you seeing the pattern with this stuff? So, the next card I pulled was stay present. That's where life happens. And when you stay present, that's... Look at how many times we're going to get the meditative posture. Well, that's when you turn off all of your like loud, chatty faculties. I have a hard time with that. But when you can become still and silent, that's when things from spirit can get in and from outside of you. And that's before I forget, one more thing. Surrender. I think I started off with that, seeing that a lot, and I had written a little notey type thing, so let me just rattle that off to you. There's a certain part that applies here, and it is... Oh, I think this is ahead of where I want to be. lose it? Did I write more than that? Hold on. Let me see if I can locate this surrender part. Oh, you know why I can't find it? Because it's not on there. Sorry. I get it. You don't. It's on something I wrote yesterday that... Did I link it to my last video? I don't know. Maybe I should link it to this one. But anyway, the point I wanted to make was in the just regular normie community growing up, if you had some problem you couldn't solve, you might have someone say to you, well, just sleep on it, or do something else and get your mind off of it. Like, you basically stop trying to force the problem. And then in the New Age spirituality community, what you'll hear as a basically surrogate for the same things is surrender, let it go, leave your baggage behind, that kind of thing. And what that does is it aids you when you're trying to do this, be in your meditative state and the stay present. When you're meditating, you're becoming present, and that's where life happens. To me, that's talking about being successful and shutting down all of the chatter in your mind. And that's when messages from outside can come in. And it's not you searching for them and trying to force the issue. You're allowing that small, still voice of inspiration from the creator, basically, to come to you and then give you the answer to your question or your puzzle, the solution to your puzzle. And it's also a good way to deal with, like I was saying earlier, like just sort of the emotional roller coaster of, I think what was happening was, like I have obviously stuff going on personally that I could be thinking about that, I mean, it could go either way, and this is completely me. There's no reason for things to go anyway, because things are just fine. They're not doing anything. There's no reason for me to come along and, like, tip the boat or anything, but I could, especially when I all of a sudden was feeling like, oh, well, paranoid, basically, and I don't know, like, I think there was just a lot of little sort of factors happening and things like, I don't know, snapping synapses or something emotionally, whatever, like things were making me feel like my own stuff and blowing it out of proportion when, like, at the same time my rational self is going, no, stop, what are you doing? So we find the way to navigate those turbulent times of feeling stuff. Oh, I think it was happening. God, I can't keep my mind on anything. I think it was happening because there's a lot of astrology happening. There's like, oh man, there's like Pisces stuff coming in. There's Mars, there's Mercury, there's Virgo, there's Venus, and I think Venus might be going in the direction where she's kind of cranky, so that, I mean, I feel like, I don't know specifically, I've watched a bunch of different stuff, and it just kind of, like doing other stuff, it kind of just goes by, and I didn't really absorb details very well. But definitely, that's another thing I'm hearing a lot of, like, get ready, hold on, it's about to get whatever, turbulent. So, I think these are just saying something we are like developing. A lot of us, consciously or not consciously, I think we're just doing it. We're being sort of nudged in the direction to be more proactive with what happens with us, and to take, I don't even know how much of a risk this is, but, to like bet on yourself and ask the question and trust whatever you will get an answer, and what comes back to you, if you just shut down and get out of the way and let it come, and then you just do it, you just trust and you just do it, because, whoa, hot potato, something is going to happen either way. Like I said at the beginning, some event is always imminent. What have you got to lose, really? And by trusting yourself, you're also, in a lot of ways, you're allowing spirit to take course, whichever way it plans to, but, your own autonomy has to fit in there some way, your own agency, because free will. Anyway, I guess just a lot to ponder with that for anyone that hasn't just been sitting around thinking about it, or maybe you have. And so I thought, let me pull an animal card. So the card I pulled was unicorn. It has like all kinds of mystical and mythical meanings. For this particular purpose, especially the last things I was just saying, you maybe, what is going to happen, because you're going to just bet on yourself and take a chance. You just don't know, because maybe you haven't taken that particular course before, but you have, placed your orders, made your asks to the deities, and you're just going to do something different, something that maybe feels crazy and a little out of control, but I mean, right now, everything does feel a little different. So if you want to fit in, do something unicorn, do something unexpected, do something, unexpected, unforeseen, unthought of, and just like that may just be exactly what's called for. That may be what kind of answer you are gonna get, like asymmetrical, what hasn't just been done, not the status quo. And I think personally that is the way to go. It's just a personal preference. Thank you and good night.